This ends the leasing moratorium that prevents new coal projects on federal land, and it's going to accelerate all permitting and funding for new coal projects to allow the coal industry to flourish under your leadership, sir.
That's great. Thank you.
In other words, drill, baby, drill. You can drill for oil. You can drill for coal. It's a fossil fuel as well. This is dramatic stuff, not getting nearly enough attention, but it's happening. It's kind of revolutionizing something that shouldn't be revolutionized, right? We should have had this under control, but Biden ruined it. And the connection President Trump had with some of the regular guys who came to see this monumental executive order for them, actually, designed to get coal back on its feet again after it was unjustly shut down by Joe Biden. Now, he did not keep a lot of his promises, but he actually tried to keep his promise to shut down fossil fuel. Here he is making that promise and also getting uncomfortably close to a young lady.
But kiddo, I want you to just take a look, okay? You don't have to agree, but I want you to look in my eyes. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel, and I am not going to cooperate with you, okay?
Yikes. And the crowd went wild. Ending fossil fuels. That's one of the reasons why the coal workers were so nice and happy to be at the White House today. Not just the coal miners, anybody who worked in the energy industry. Remember under Biden, they shut down the Keystone pipeline. That thing was such a great kind of source of energy it was going to be, and great jobs. But by executive fiat, Joe shut it down.
TC Energy estimates nearly 1,000 employees have been laid off.
There's all this money invested into this and all these jobs that people are basically promised. And then the president can just sign an executive order and shut it all down.
On Joe Biden's first day in office, he killed thousands of American jobs. Joe Biden killed hundreds of Wisconsin jobs.
Of course, they signed an executive order canceling the permits for the pipeline. And it wasn't an hour after that, I was laid off.
Some of that news footage, it's like a flashback, right? A throwback to the 90s, even some in the 80s and the early aughts, right? Of layoffs and the jobs going overseas. And this is what President Trump pledged when he first started running in 2015 to fix, and he's making good on it now. They eradicated the industrial base of this country, took away all those great-paying jobs. The factories shut down. We might have some spooky pictures of some of them. You ever see? Yeah, it's just, it's not good what happened. We just gutted this country to make certain people very, very wealthy. And what do you do in some of these towns when there ain't no factory anymore? Unfortunately, a lot of them fell prey to addiction. Right now, President Trump is not a lame duck. I heard them call him a soaring eagle on CNN. Not a lame duck, but a soaring eagle. How about that? Yeah, I know the stock market is up and down, up and down. When is it not up and down?
The markets were all over the place today. The Dow fell 0.95% after a wild day of trading.
You've got green across the board there. The Dow looking to bounce back about 730 points. The Nasdaq looking to add back 300 points. And the S&P looking to gain 86 points.
The Dow losing about 1%. The Nasdaq closing slightly up. The S&P slightly down.
U.S. stocks started the day with a burst of optimism. The market surged higher. The Dow was up almost 1,500 points, nearly 4%.
Well, I know. You've seen it before, up and down, and this was kind of predicted. I'm not perturbed. The market, I learned this, basically always overreacts. They're very skittish down there on Wall Street. And it's not President Trump's fault. This needed to be done. He pointed out that Obama, Clinton, W, George H.W., they all could have done something about it, but they didn't. All right? President Trump in the Oval Office.
And it's all because of the people that sat in the seat right here. Not your seat, but this seat. They allowed things to happen to our country that they shouldn't have allowed to happen on trade and other things.
It really is incredible. What I think right now, the people who are most tarnished and have the most explaining to do, Bush, Clinton, Obama, W, those guys who brought us to where President Trump has to take these actions, and thank God he is. You know, President Trump is that rare, exceptional president who did not run for president to be president. He ran for president to do things, to get stuff done. It is a huge difference from the other guys. Take W, for instance, a known kind of goofball underachiever for his entire life, and then had a chip on his shoulder about the old man. It's true. This has been documented by historians. W and his dad, there was a lot of tension there. And the mano-a-mano fight, they actually had a fight. This has been widely established. They've even admitted it. And it was captured in a movie. And I'm told by insiders that they actually got it just about right. James Brolin is playing George Bush, who just crashed his car into the front lawn.
We made it. Fine. Whoa.
Marvin, go to your room.
Do what your dad says.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
What?
He's only 15. I've had just about enough of your crap.
Whoa. You've had enough of me. Well, I'm mighty glad to hear that. You know why? Because I've had enough of you. For a lifetime. And then some.
My advice to you, Junior, get yourself to an AA meeting. Get help.
Thank you, Mr. What? Perfect. Mr. War Hero, Mr. God Almighty.
Oh, boy. This is not just fiction. A lot's been written about the rivalry between father and son. That was George H.W. Bush and Jr. there. And maybe, just maybe, that's one of the reasons why we went into Iraq. Was it a father-son thing, or was it really about weapons of mass destruction? I'm not sure, but I do know this. The Bushes were not motivated by public service. They were motivated by, just like Clinton and I believe Obama, power and money. Here's W saying it out loud while his dad was president.
When you're the president's son and you've got unlimited access combined with some credentials from a prior campaign, in Washington, D.C., people tend to respect that. I mean, access is power. And I can find my dad and talk to him any time of the day.
How about that, huh? For money. For money. It's just incredible. They really weren't worried about jobs going overseas, right? The people who can hire and pay money to George W. Bush, son of the president, they're not working for middle or lower middle class people. They're working for the very rich and the very powerful. And that brings me to Clinton. Clinton showed up overwhelmed by the presidency. Wow, I get all this stuff. This is great. It's important to point out, I don't think he went into government to help people. He went in for that plane and probably for the girls. Just listen to who his inspiration was.
I went to Washington and met President Kennedy at the Boys Nation program. And I remember just thinking what an incredible country this was, that somebody like me, had no money or anything, would be given the opportunity to meet the president.
All right, that's beautiful. Kinda, all right? And then he just says he decides to go into public service at that point. Go into public service. I wonder, he wanted to be something, not do something. Did he know what agenda he wanted to pursue at 15? Maybe I'm being a little bit harsh, but this is another guy who wanted to be president, not get things done, not do something for the people as president. That is President Trump.
He didn't do it for money or power or fame. He had all that.
It's true. When he was 34 years old, he had his own plane, helicopter, you name it. He had it. For decades, he was used to this stuff and he wanted to give back. How is Barack Obama going to get access to a helicopter or a plane, right? By being an ex-president of the United States, selling your services to very, very, very wealthy people, no matter where they live, overseas, that's fine. President Trump has been consistent for decades and decades about helping people, helping regular people, and not getting ripped off by the Japanese, the Kuwaitis, whoever the hell it was. He was America first, every step of the way, all the way until today. You saw it at the Oval Office. We've all seen this clip, but I think it's a good one with Oprah.
I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings and we're not. I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off.
Is this so radical? I mean, why is he getting such resistance? The answer is he's actually not. The countries are capitulating, right? 70 so far plus. The Wall Street bankers are kind of figuring out this is more of an opportunity than anything else. Who could complain about trying to fix this long-standing problem?
By 1979, GM employed more than 600,000 people in the U.S., the largest private employer in the country. GM at its zenith, but soon recession, competition from Japanese automakers, sales drop. In 1985, Saturn was born, billed as a different kind of car company to fight imports. But it was not enough. 1991 saw GM lose a record $4.45 billion, plants closed, jobs slashed.
And it went on like that and on like that. And we have a president who says no more.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.